fatal companions weren't leaving anything to chance. They had now arrived on the scene, and the Wodenfang, his eyes lit up with surprising excitement at the battle, considering his great age, shouted, "Number 4, guys! Number 4!" Number 4 was one of the many manoeuvres that they had worked out during an exciting year of fighting in forests, among other places, and it was one of the more successful ones. Shouted Hiccup desperately, which meant, "Guys, please no, guys, we don't want to kill her, and this is a big misunderstanding, she's my mother." But his dragons had absolutely no idea what he was saying, so they put number 4 into action. The Windwalker bounded around the two fighters, barking excitedly to confuse them, and then Toothless dive-bombed Valhallarama's head, biting into her metal arm, giving himself a gum-ache, while Wodenfang set fire to the bottom of a tree just behind her. Even Hiccup's incredible sword-fighting skills were challenged by this, because he was having to defend himself from Valhallarama while trying to manoeuvre her into a position out of the way of that tree when it fell down on top of her. Oh, for the Lord's sake, this was impossible! That 6'3" female metal mountain would not budge. He parried her lunges with a Grimbeard's grapple, a flashbone fancy, and 2 points of order before realising she was never going to move. And for such a very small dragon, the Wodenfang was making good progress with that tree trunk. It was already beginning to wobble, and visible flames were lighting up the grass at the bottom. Desperately, Hiccup defended himself from the Never-Miss's most brilliant fencing work with his left hand while trying to yank off that horrible jam-tight tin can of a helmet with the other. "Timber!" sang the Wodenfang and Toothless in joyful chorus together. The burnt-through tree was swaying madly. Hiccup gave one last beyond-hope pull, and the helmet finally shot off his head with a violence that made his ears tingle. He shouted at the top of his voice, "Mother! Don't attack! It's only me, your son Hiccup! Get out of the way of that tree, which is about to fall on your head!" But most unfortunately, totally unconsciously, he shouted those words in the tongue he had been used to speaking in for the last year. He hadn't had any human companions. You see, not in Norse, but in Dragonese. "Me mama, na bitey! He's a lonely meat, a disappointer Hiccup. Plus out it away a de leaf dangle, which yap and low down ta brain boxer." So much for letting her down gently, letting her know gently in a quiet moment. Life is sometimes much more messy than that. "Me mama, no bitey." Oh, Valhallarama's blue eyes practically fell out of her visor, popping with amazement. She went absolutely rigid with shock in the slightly ridiculous and undignified pose of mid-looping loop bubbles, one of Flashburn's more show-offy moves, which should really only be attempted by someone about 10 years younger and half the girth of Valhallarama, formidable action woman though she was. No wonder she was surprised, for in one gobsmacked, sword-arm freezing second she had learnt, 1, that she had just been attempting to kill her only son by accident, 2, that said son was in fact the outcast and enemy of the Wild West, who everybody, not just the witch, said was the one who set free the Dragon Furious and started this war between humans and dragons. 3, that the same son, oh my goodness, she's getting a lot of information, happened to have a slave mark on his forehead. 4, that the same son appeared to be fluent in Dragonese, a language that had been banned. Not that that Hiccup could speak it anyway. This was a very great deal to take in just one moonlit moment. The one piece of information that she wasn't able to take in, because it was spoken in Dragonese, was the one that would have been most immediately useful to her. The information that a tree was about to fall on her head. Crash! The tree snapped off at the trunk, and boing! It landed plumb on Valhallarama's metal head, and then bounced off it onto the ground. Valhallarama stood absolutely stock still for 1 second. She rearranged herself into a more dignified position, and then she strayed gently on the spot, and crash! She went down like the tree trunk itself. "No! Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear." Hiccup popped anxiously from foot to foot. "Bingo!" shouted Toothless. "Good shot, Wodenfang!" And then he plucked up and down and shouted insult down her visor. "You big human bully!" Hiccup tried to wave him out the way, and Toothless thought he was reminding him about manners. "Sorry, you great metal mollusk, pardon me, you lumping lard-bottom lead belly, excuse us, you terrifying tin of testosterone." manners, said Toothless smugly to Woden's-Fang. Yes, well done, Toothless, congratulated Woden's-Fang brightly, lovely apologising. Hiccup pushed Toothless off and snapped her open his mother's visor. There's Toothless insulting. Oh,